We've all felt it. Everything is getting more expensive. From groceries to gas to rent, it seems like prices are constantly climbing. And for many Americans, even the most basic vehicles are starting to feel out of reach. So when headlines started popping up about General Motors potentially launching a $10,000 pickup truck, many of us had the same reaction. Wait, seriously? It's a fair question. In today's world, where full-size trucks often cost more than entry-level luxury sedans, the idea of a 5-digit pickup from a major automaker sounds almost too good to be true. But GM isn't just floating a rumor. It's laying the groundwork for something big, something that, if it pans out, could spark a market revolution. This isn't just about price. It's about access, strategy, and a return to practical design. It's about GM's attempt to reclaim a segment the industry has ignored for too long, and possibly bring back the kind of truck we haven't seen in decades. Let's dig into the what, the why, and the how of GM's rumored $10,000 truck, and why it could become one of the most important automotive developments in recent memory. Why now? A perfect storm of inflation and innovation. To understand the context of GM's decision, we have to start with the state of the market. Over the past 5 years, vehicle prices have skyrocketed. The average new car in the US now costs over $48,000. Trucks? Even worse. Models like the Ford F-150, Chevy Silverado, and Ram 1500 routinely cross the $60,000-$70,000 mark when decently equipped. Add in rising interest rates, higher insurance costs, and supply chain disruptions, and you've got a recipe for frustration. Many Americans simply can't afford a new vehicle, especially not a truck. This is where GM sees an opportunity. Instead of competing in the saturated, bloated full-size truck market, they're aiming for something leaner, smarter, and more strategic. Enter the return of the compact, affordable pickup. We're also seeing a cultural shift. Consumers are starting to prioritize value and versatility over flash and bulk. Pickup buyers who once paid a premium for lifted rigs and chrome trim are now looking for something that just gets the job done without breaking the bank. GM appears to be reading the room. Meet the Montana, a familiar name, reimagined. GM's candidate for this radical pricing strategy is the Chevrolet Montana, a nameplate some enthusiasts might recognize. First introduced in Latin American markets in the early 2000s, the Montana was a compact utility vehicle designed to serve small businesses and urban drivers needing light-duty functionality without the bulk or cost of a full-size truck. What made the original Montana so special was its simplicity. It wasn't built to haul massive trailers or survive off-road expeditions. It was made to be cheap, useful, and easy to maintain. And for many drivers around the world, that was more than enough. The latest version of the Montana, recently updated for Latin American markets, now comes with 4 doors, a more SUV-inspired design, and a front-wheel drive layout that emphasizes efficiency over raw power. And while its current configuration wouldn't pass US regulations without some tweaks, the bones of a good compact American pickup are already there. Today, with American consumers rethinking what they really need in a vehicle, the Montana may be poised for a major comeback, this time in North America, with a redesigned purpose and a headline-making price tag, $10,000. Can GM really build a $10,000 truck in 2025? It's a big question, and the short answer is yes, but only if they play their cards right. Automakers have proven they can build functional vehicles on a budget when they simplify their approach. Ford did it with the Maverick. Toyota is doing it globally with the IMV0, and GM plans to follow suit with a focused, stripped-down design that emphasizes affordability without compromising basic functionality. To hit the $10,000 target, GM will likely use an ultralight unibody frame, minimizing production and material costs. Include a small, efficient engine or base-level hybrid system, possibly shared with other global models. Simplify the interior, focusing on durability over luxury. Think hard plastics and cloth seats. Lean on global platforms, leveraging economies of scale by using components already in production elsewhere. Manufacture in lower-cost regions, potentially sourcing from Mexico, Brazil, or Southeast Asia. It's not going to be flashy, but that's the point. This truck won't have leather seats, massive touchscreens, or 12-speaker sound systems. Instead, it'll have manual seats, a simple infotainment interface, and maybe a few USB ports. The goal? Give people a reliable, brand new pickup without forcing them into 5- or 6-figure debt. This approach may even echo what automakers did decades ago. Build trucks that are utilitarian, approachable, and easy to work on. The Montana could take us back to that golden age of pickups, but with the benefit of modern safety standards and efficiency. How the Montana compares to the competition. Now, GM isn't operating in a vacuum. The small truck space is heating up fast, and other automakers are eyeing the same opportunity. Ford Maverick. Starting around $24,000, the Maverick has proven there's huge demand for small, efficient trucks. But even this budget option is still more than double the projected price of the Montana. Toyota IMV0, a modular utility vehicle currently aimed at developing markets. The IMV0 represents Toyota's functional design philosophy. It's like a blank slate for businesses, ready to be customized, but it's not necessarily optimized for everyday suburban drivers. Hyundai Santa Cruz, stylish and tech-heavy, but starts around $26,000 and leans more toward lifestyle buyers. What sets the Montana apart is its focus on price and accessibility. It's not trying to be rugged or luxurious, it's trying to be useful. For delivery drivers, gig workers, tradespeople, and small businesses, it could be a game changer. Also, none of the above trucks truly serve the no-frills buyer. The Montana might be the first truck in a long time that prioritizes affordability over features. That alone gives it a niche in a cluttered marketplace. Who's the Montana really for? Let's be honest. Most people don't need a 12,000-pound towing capacity or a luxury-trimmed cabin. What they need is a bed that can handle hardware store runs or landscaping gear, enough cabin space for 2 to 4 people, great fuel economy, low maintenance costs, a payment they can actually afford. That's the market GM is targeting. Think of small business owners, entry-level buyers, contractors who don't need full-size trucks, and even families looking for a second vehicle that's practical and cost-effective. There's also a growing urban audience that wants something compact enough to park easily, but still capable of hauling gear for weekend projects or local moves. Farmers, municipal fleets, landscapers, and tradespeople could also benefit from a low-cost utility vehicle. The Montana has the potential to serve everyone from high school students to retirees. The power of price, why $10,000 matters. We've seen affordable trucks before, but not at this price. If GM can actually offer the Montana for around $10,000, it won't just be a success. It could be a cultural phenomenon. That price point opens up entirely new demographics: high schoolers with part-time jobs, retirees on fixed incomes, new immigrants trying to get established, single parents who need utility without the monthly squeeze. For comparison, a used Tacoma with 100,000 miles still costs $18,000 plus. The base Ford Maverick now pushes $25,000 plus with destination fees. Even compact crossovers like the Honda HR-V start around $26,000. A $10,000 brand new pickup undercuts everything. It doesn't just compete, it disrupts. It would also challenge the assumption that you have to buy used to save money. For people wary of high-mileage vehicles, the Montana could be a breath of fresh air. A reliable, warranted alternative to aging trucks on the used lot. Potential risks and roadblocks. Of course, building a $10,000 truck is one thing, selling it successfully is another. GM will have to overcome some serious challenges. 1. Perception of quality. Consumers may assume cheap equals poorly made. GM must ensure the Montana doesn't feel flimsy or unsafe. 2. Dealer markups. We've seen what happened with the Maverick. Dealers added thousands in markups due to demand. If GM can't keep the Montana's price under control, its greatest strength, affordability, will vanish. 3. Scaling production. If the Montana becomes a runaway hit, GM will need to ramp up manufacturing fast. Otherwise, waitlists and shortages could lead to frustration. 4. Meeting safety and emissions standards. Keeping costs low while still passing U.S. regulations won't be easy. GM may need to get creative with design and materials to meet these requirements. 5. Electric or gas? While a gas engine is the cheapest option, some markets may demand an electric or hybrid alternative. GM might need multiple variants depending on regional preferences and emissions laws. 6. Brand positioning. Can GM market the Montana without cannibalizing more expensive models? They'll need to make sure buyers see this as a different product category, not a downgrade. What success could look like? If the Montana launches smoothly and maintains its affordability, it could trigger a new compact truck war, forcing Ford, Toyota, and others to follow suit. Revive interest in entry-level vehicles, a segment many automakers have neglected. Push back against dealer greed and bloated pricing. Introduce younger buyers to the GM brand, fostering long-term loyalty. It could even resurrect older ideas. Remember the Chevrolet Louvre or Subaru Brat? Practical, funky trucks with real personality. The Montana could be the modern version of that ethos. Most importantly, the Montana could prove that mass-market vehicles don't need to be high-margin luxury toys. They can be affordable, reliable tools that meet everyday needs. Could it fail? Absolutely. If the Montana ends up underpowered, cheap-feeling, or hard to get, it could damage GM's brand and credibility. Worse, if the truck creeps up to $15,000 or $18,000 due to dealer markups or mandatory options, it loses its edge entirely. But failure is not guaranteed. With careful planning, transparency, and a laser focus on the buyer's needs, GM has a shot at pulling off something remarkable. The key will be delivering on the core promise, affordability without sacrifice. If GM can walk that tightrope, the Montana won't just succeed, it'll make history. Final thoughts: why this truck matters more than you think. We're at a crossroads in the automotive world. Consumers are fed up with overpriced vehicles packed with tech they don't need. Automakers are realizing they can't ignore the entry-level buyer forever. And the economy is forcing everyone, OEMs and drivers alike, to rethink what value really means. The Chevrolet Montana represents more than just a cheap truck. It's a symbol of what could happen when an automaker listens to its customers, respects their budgets, and offers something real instead of bloated hype. And even if the Montana never hits showroom floors at $10,000, it's already doing something valuable. It's starting a conversation about affordability, accessibility, and a smarter way to design vehicles for real life. Would you buy one? So now the question turns to you. Would you buy a brand new Chevrolet Montana for $10,000 if it had the basics covered? Good mileage, light towing, decent tech, and rock-solid reliability? Or would you still gravitate toward a used Ranger, Tacoma, or Maverick? Let us know in the comments below. No matter where you land, one thing's clear. Something big is happening in the world of trucks, and it might just start at the lowest price point we've seen in years. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.